So before we get to predictions, and I want to go back to Mahomes quickly as you talked about
Mm,
him there again. If he does win a fourth Super Bowl, and I think he's got three MVPs in all this. So he's got
mm,
MVPs in every Super Bowl he's played in every Super Bowl he's won. Sorry. So
yeah.
where would he stack up to the likes of Tom Brady? Because we all know Tom Brady. We all know how good he was. Even if you don't, like me, have never really followed the sport that well, you know the impact Tom Brady had on the side, moving to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for example, and then leading them to the Super Bowl. Not many players in a lot of different sports can do that. I think,
Mm.
where would Mahomes and the Chiefs rank up against Brady and the Patriots? Because I might be wrong in thinking it, but I think the Patriots are considered to be the best of all time because of that dynasty they had for a good 10 years, I think it was something.
20, you could say
Yeah,
it was nearly 20 because they won their first in the sort of early 2000s, and then the last one they
yeah,
won was 2018, so nearly
yeah.
20 years.
A stupid amount of time
Yeah.
dominating the sport. Where would the Chiefs and Mahomes rank up to that, especially if they won three in a row, which has never been done before and not been done by the Patriots themselves?
No, and this is an interesting thing. Um, the Patriots didn't win three in a row. You're right. They won two in a row, and then they won 2 in 3 years. Funnily enough, the 2 in 3 years, the one they lost was to the Eagles in 2017. So maybe there's something in that. Who knows? But in terms of team, I think if they were to win three in a row here and four four of the last six, sorry, I should say four of the last
Hmm.
six, I think they're team wise, I think they're the best ever because it's so difficult to do. Again, like you said, even the Patriots didn't do it. Even if you go back to the great 49ers teams in the 80s and 90s, the Cowboys teams, the 90s, the Steelers in the 70s, none of those teams do. And they're held as like the greatest teams ever. So I think as a team, they would
Yeah.
possibly be the greatest ever. On Mahomes, if he was to win, he'd have four. He'd have four Super Bowl rings by the time before he's 30. Brady didn't do that. Now, like you said, Brady won one outside the Patriots, and he's won seven altogether with that.
Hmm.
So, for me personally, you could argue Mahomes is the better sort of player, but is he the best quarterback? If that makes sense,
Yeah.
because it's such a pivotal position in the sport. There's no other position across team sports like it in a way. Um, I would still have Brady just above him but that isn't to say Mahomes won't pass him
Hmm.
in the rest of his career. So even if he's to win three in a row, and I know it sounds silly, I call the Chiefs the best team ever, but not Mahomes the best ever, which is a bit strange. But for me, the fact that Brady left the Patriots and won one when he was in his 40s
Yeah.
against Mahomes as well. His Buccaneers team beat Mahomes in that Super Bowl, and Brady beat for his last win with the Patriots. He beat Mahomes in the semifinal as well. So the two times they've come up against each other in the playoffs, Brady has won.
Hmm.
So I'd still just give the edge to him, even if they do win it.
And if you look at, so you mentioned there the Chiefs being, this is the greatest potentially team of all time.
Mm,
So now I'm looking at maybe comparing it to football, and
mm,
if you compare it to maybe the Manchester City, that would they be the Manchester City of now? And you mentioned players like Travis Kelce coming to the end of their cycle, coming to the
yeah.
end of their peak. Really, is the team coming to the end of the peak? And what happens to the Chiefs from after the season? Win or don't win, is this the end for them? Are they still going strong? Patrick Mahomes himself, do you ever see him leaving the Chiefs? What's
Um,
the Chiefs cycle looking like pre
it
and
it
post Super Bowl?
it's very interesting. So you mentioned like Kelsey is 35 now, and he
Hmm.
plays such a sort of physical position. And again, it's noticeable how much he slowed down. Would he retire after this? Maybe. Maybe, again, he'll have sort of done everything he can do. But I wouldn't say they're coming to an end because, again, Mahomes isn't 30. He's not 30
Mm,
till later this year.
yeah.
And they've already said that the head coach Andy Reid is back for next year. They've come out and said it. Earlier, I think, was it last week, the week before, whatever. They're like, no, he's coming back. We're going again, basically.
Mm,
So, in terms of where they are, they have some nice young players. They have a nice young receiver called Xavier Worthy, who's only in his first year in the league. They have some good defenders like Trent McDuffie, who's a cornerback who's young and quite good. I mentioned Chris Jones. He's let me just say, what age is Chris Jones? He's only 30 as well. So
mm.
they're sort of they've they're not like City this season, for instance, or
Yeah.
or like or the team that Ferguson left for Moyes. It's not like, oh my God, they've just got one more in them. That this is
Mm,
the last one and then it's over. Um, they'll as long as basically, I think the answer comes back as long as they have Mahomes and as long as they have Andy Reid, their head coach,
mm.
they're always going to be favorites in my eyes because they've shown time and time again like how good the two of them are. So as long as those two are around, you can a bit like Belichick and Brady with the Patriots.
Mm.
Don't count them out.
Sorry, James, we've
We've
literally just
literally just
ended.
wrapped up.
Okay.
Can we get your prediction?
Um, who is involved?
Also, put this clip at the end, Darren. Darren, put this clip at the end if you
Yeah.
can.
Uh,
So
Can,
the Kansas City Chiefs are playing against the Philadelphia Eagles.
um, I'd say it's going to be Kansas City 28, Philadelphia 17. That's my prediction. Is,
There you
is
go.
Patrick
This guy's gone for a
Patrick Mahomes playing?
Yes, he plays for the Chiefs.
Well, there you go. He's going to be the star man. Am I? Can you see me on this?
Yeah.
Oh, right, I can't see myself. It's just a white background.
Oh,
Oh well, there you go. Yeah.
I love
So
it, James.
yeah. I mean, Mahomes is as an American football expert, he's on the way to he's approaching GOAT status, isn't he?